Welcome to Missouri Sports Talk. I'm your host, Cameron Staley, and today I'm here with
Micah Volner.
Micah. Thank you for coming on. You go to Cuba, all right? What is Cuba like?
It's a great town. It's fairly small, but it's got great people, great community. Just lots of great people. It's beautiful too.
All right, so you've been watching for a little bit. I think you started watching after I hit you up, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So thank you for the support. You've been watching a little bit. Of course, you know the hot seat. So 10 questions. You got 60 seconds. So I'll give you 3, 2, 1, and then we'll go. 3, 2, 1. Favorite song?
Family Ties.
What's your dream car?
Realistically, a Camaro SS, but unrealistically, a GTR.
Okay, are you a morning or a night person?
Definitely night.
Favorite artist?
Kendrick Lamar.
What's a hobby you have?
I like to run.
What's your favorite food?
I'd say ramen noodles.
Least favorite food or least favorite sport? Sorry.
From experience, soccer.
Okay. What's your birthday?
October 2nd, 2006.
Do you have a nickname?
Nope.
Favorite dog breed?
I got a lab, so I'd say lab.
Okay. I messed up there a little bit. So the final time was 42, but we're going to dock 2 seconds off of that. So you got 40 seconds. So
Sounds good.
Good job. So let's get to the rest of it now, what everybody's here for. I want to ask you, of course, football is your main sport, but what other sports do you play?
I run track, and this year I plan on playing basketball in the winter.
So why did you choose to join basketball?
Pretty solid team, pretty solid coaching. They know what they're doing, and I just wanted to play with my friends again like I did in middle school.
Do you have any goals for this season at all?
We're going for district champs this year.
Okay, so I guess the district doesn't really come out until a while. So last year, though, it was Blair Oaks, I think St. James was in it. I can't remember. Owensville, yep. So Blair Oaks easily went through that one because it was a pretty weak district.
It was a pretty close game till the end.
Yeah. And then the score doesn't really look like it because when you kind of run away with it, then people don't really see that part. So how long have you done track? You talked about that a little bit.
So I started doing track in 7th grade, but I didn't have a 7th grade year because of COVID. So my first year was officially 8th grade. So I've been doing that ever since.
What events do you do?
I do a little bit of everything. I used to jump. Now I mostly just sprint, relays, just the normal stuff.
Do you have any goals for this season?
I definitely want to make it past districts.
Okay, so let's move on to football. I want to ask you, what is your love for football?
I just love the game, man. I played it since I was in 3rd grade, so it's just been a part of my life for a long time.
And what positions do you play?
I play DB and wide receiver.
So how long have you been playing those two positions?
I started playing DB my sophomore year, and wide receiver I've played since freshman year.
Okay, so I find it interesting that you play both because it's the best of both worlds. You get to actually be the receiver, and then you get to guard the receivers. So you're seeing both sides of it, kind of the mental aspect for your opponents on both sides of the ball too. So has that helped you any at all?
Yeah, definitely, because I know all the tricks that they're going to try to pull, and, it just works out in the end.
So let's go year by year. Freshman year, team goes 1-9. How was that?
I didn't really play much my freshman year, so I can't really say much about it. But it was a pretty senior heavy team. We played some pretty tough people. Like we played Park Hills Central. Pretty sure they won state. Either this year or last year.
It was this year.
Yeah. Other than that, I didn't really play that year, so I didn't really.
So sophomore year, I'm assuming you get a little bit more of a role.
Yeah.
You guys did end up going 0-10 though, but what was that season like?
It was a very young season, so we had a bunch. I was starting both ways. Defense, offense, special teams. I was not getting off the field because we had such a small team. it was just young, so it was kind of an experience year.
Right. What's your special teams role like?
I play kick returner, and I usually play the outside. I'm the safety net, on the kickoff. So.
Okay, so junior year is a little more fresh in your mind. This was just last August to December. So what was junior year like for you?
Junior year, it was a great year personally, but for the team, we suffered a lot of injuries. Quarterback went down week 1 after week 1. We just didn't really have quarterback. We couldn't move the ball on offense. We were starting every drive on our own side of the field on defense. So it was a rough year.
Right. I want to ask you, before we go into like this season, what are your stats and credentials so far?
Last year, I started out at corner, and I moved to free safety, and I had 52 tackles, 3 interceptions, and 2 pass deflections, and a caused fumble. And then, I think sophomore year, I only had like 17 tackles. But on the offensive side, I'm pretty sure I had like 7 receptions for 120 yards. No, not much. So we ran the ball a lot last year because we couldn't throw much.
So let's get on to this season. How about that? How did off-season training go, off-season and this summer?
We're looking pretty solid this year. I will say that. We're definitely miles ahead of where we were last year.
So what should we be expecting from this Cuba team this year?
I would definitely say it not 0-10. So couple wins at least. I think we're gonna have a pretty good year.
Okay, so let's go ahead and go through your schedule. I have it right here. So we'll talk about these games a little bit individual. I know some of them you may not have a whole lot to say. Some of them you probably honestly haven't played yet. So week 1, of course, is at Lynn. This is a new program. This is their very first year in 11-man varsity. So what are you expecting from week 1?
We are expecting to go in and come out with a win. So we can't be too cocky. Our coaches say don't be overly confident, because that turns into cockiness and it just doesn't work out in the end. So
right. And the hard
going in there looking for a win, hoping for one. So
yeah, and the hard truth with it is that you guys went defeated last year, so you can't go into week 1 and just say, hey, we're getting the win.
Yeah.
Obviously you want to, but every game's gonna be tough.
Yeah.
So I do expect you all to have some success against Lynn. I will say that I'm not picking Lynn, of course, but definitely have to go in expecting a battle.
Yeah.
So week 2. First home game against, is it Clever or Cleaver? How do you say it? It's Clever,
it's
right?
Clever, yeah.
Okay, so do you have any thoughts about that one?
We haven't played them yet, but they're pretty much in the same boat as us. They don't win much. They play bigger schools because they're around Springfield area. So.
Okay, week 3 is against Grandview Hillsboro. Now, Misha did not have your all's homecoming marked, so stop me when we get to homecoming because I don't know which one that is. I know when your senior night is.
I personally don't even know when.
You don't?
They usually schedule that closer to when season starts. So.
Okay, so maybe it's Grandview Hillsboro, possibly, or it could be week 5. I guess we'll get to week 5 as well. But do you have any thoughts about week 3?
We played them freshman year, so I didn't really play much. I rotated in, so I haven't seen them in 3 years, so I'm not sure what we're going to do.
Okay, September 20th is against Jefferson Festus. Is there anything to say on that one?
Saw them last year. They were pretty solid. Pretty sure they were a 7-win team, so they're not bad. They're pretty good, so I'm hoping that's going to be a pretty good game.
Right. So the next week is Herculaneum. They were not very good last year. Do you have anything to say about that one?
No, not really. We just haven't seen them, so can't really tell.
Okay, so the next week is St. Pius X Festus.
Um, that could go two different ways because last year, they did beat us pretty bad, but we played good. The score won't reflect that, but we played pretty good for that game. That was a game I had 2 interceptions, a touchdown, so it was a pretty
Nice.
good game for me.
Yeah.
So there's definitely holes in their defense we can find.
So week 7 and 8, you go on the road those 2 weeks. St. Vincent on October 11th, and it's Bayless on October 18th.
So we haven't seen any of those teams. Those are both new, so I don't really have much to say about them. I know St. Vincent was pretty decent last year. Bayless, they were in our district. We never ended up playing them, so I don't really know anything about them.
Right. So week 9, Perryville. That's senior night. So are you excited for that?
Yeah, it's great. It's weird being a senior. It moves fast, but I'm pretty excited for that one.
I'd have to agree that it does move fast. I felt like, at the start of the year, I was just kind of floating around, Obviously, didn't really have much college plans, so I was like, just getting through the year. But then, now we're in August, and I'm not going to college. I'm going to do the podcast full time. So, this year has flown for me.
This summer has definitely flown by. It feels like it's been weeks, but it's been months, so it's just flying by.
Yeah. So we've got a few more here. I want to ask you, what are your personal goals for this season?
Personally, I want to have over 50 tackles again, and I want to get 5 picks this year. Hopefully, I've been getting picks in 7-on-7s and camps and stuff like that. So hopefully, I can come down with a couple. I would say a team one, definitely, win a game. So that would definitely be a personal goal, but it could go with team as well.
Right.
Yeah.
So let's move on to recruiting. How about that? I want to ask you, how has recruiting been for you so far?
It's been going pretty good. I'm talking to a couple schools, so they seem pretty interested.
So what schools have shown you interest?
So I've been talking to SBU, Missouri Southern, SEMO, and North Dakota State. So
North Dakota State would be an interesting one.
Yeah,
That definitely outshines the other ones,
yeah,
I think.
it's pretty big.
So you have gone to their camp, right? There's a
Yeah.
few camps that you've gone to?
Yeah, I've went to all of those camps. Yeah.
Okay. So how have those camps gone for you?
I would say they went pretty good. Missouri Southern, SBU, they said that I'm invited to home games, home game visits. SEMO, there was an article I was mentioned in for the top defensive prospects by 6-Star Football, so I'd say they're going pretty good.
Yeah, that'll be up on the screen right now for
Yeah.
anybody that wants to read that. So we've got a few more here. I want to ask you, are there any specific teams that are at the top of your list right now, even if they haven't really shown interest to you?
Definitely SBU. I really liked what they have down there. Their coaches are fun. They get down to business. It's just great work down there.
They better drop that offer.
Yeah.
Get that offer out there. So if you had to pick one position in college, which one would you choose? Would you be a receiver or a safety or corner?
So I would definitely be a DB because, it's pretty fun. I feel like it's one of the hardest positions on the field, and who doesn't like challenge? So I would say DB for sure.
I feel like a lot of people don't talk about that. It's always the quarterback that everybody says is the hardest position, which honestly, I'd agree. But
I would definitely agree because, I played in our district game quarterback. I was out of position, so it's definitely hard.
Yeah, and if you want to talk number 2, obviously you have a unanimous number 1. Number 2, I'd have to go corner. I'd say corner is definitely, and you could argue kicker for the mental aspect.
Yeah.
But personally, I'd say corner because honestly, when you're in one-on-ones, you're floating
It's
on an
just
island.
you,
And you've
yeah.
got a dude standing in front of you that you have to stop from running past you or doing any crazy spin
Yeah.
moves to get open. It's not the easiest position to play.
It's definitely tough, especially when you don't have any help over the top or anything like that.
Yeah. So, have you picked your major?
So I definitely want to go and do exercise science. So my school personally does not have an athletic trainer, so I know how tough it is not having one. So that just made me want to be one, if that makes any sense at all.
Right. So
I
that's
could
the
help
career
someone
that you're
else.
looking
Yeah,
to go into is
definitely.
athletic training.
Physical therapy, athletic training, somewhere
Nice.
down there.
Well, I'll tell you what, State Tech's got a pretty good program for physical therapy. So that if the football thing doesn't end up working out, which I'm sure it will for you, but if you decide that you don't want to play, State Tech is probably somewhere that could be top of the
Yeah.
list for you. So I wish you best of luck, Micah. Hopefully we'll have you on at some other point. It may not be an interview. I got something in my eye. It may not be another interview. It could be also, here in a few years. But if you've got any off days, maybe like spring break, I'll have you on one of the normal podcast episodes. I think that would be fun. So thanks for coming on, of course.
Thank you for having me.
This has been Missouri Sports Talk. See you next time.